Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I am your host, Kelly Chase. Today's episode is actually a recording from my keynote from the Fempowered event in August of 2023 that I did. I was invited as a keynote speaker for Fempowered by Samantha Joy, my dear friend. And I shared parts of my story that I have shared in intimate settings, but never as publicly as this, about my sexual trauma and what that trauma, how it affected and impacted my 20s and early 30s. And I definitely get very emotional during this because, again, it's frightening to share such vulnerability. But a lot of me healed that day. So much of me healed that day, but also I just felt so seen and heard and recognized. And I felt like I gave other people, a space to feel safe and vulnerable too, and to share their story as well, or to at least just feel connected. Because I feel like a lot of women have actually experienced some type of sexual assault or some type of abuse in some way, whether it is physical, verbal, or emotional abuse. And if you don't address it, it does become an issue and it does affect your life. And it does impact and it shows up in various ways. And anyways, I take the audience through that story and through that journey, and obviously discuss a little bit of Love is Blind as well, make the connection with everything too. But anyways, without further ado, I want to share this keynote with you. I was the very first speaker for this, so you're actually going to hear from my beautiful friend, Samantha Joy, the host of Fempowered, the creator and founder of Fempowered events, and she is going to kick off the recording, basically. So, and you can check this out on YouTube as well. The video is actually going to be on YouTube. I know a lot of you, if you've been following my journey for a while, you knew that I did this keynote, and I hadn't shared the video yet. From the keynote, I had not shared the video of my speech, so I am scared, but also feeling quite liberated to have it out there. Let me know what you think about it. Definitely, send me an Instagram message or TikTok message, however you want to reach out to me and let me know what your thoughts were. And, it's my first keynote, so it's not the best, but I felt really good about it. And that's all we can do. Show up and give it our best. But anyways, I hope that you enjoy, and chat soon. Bye.
All right, this works. I love you, Jamie. This is so insane. I need a minute. I have to take this in. Please take this in with me. We'll never have this moment again together for this first year. I'm like, save it till the end, Samantha, save it till the end. Like many of you, it's been a rough few years, hasn't it? It's been a lot of letting go and growth and transformation. And it's been rewarding in a lot of ways, but it doesn't come without pain. I've had a lot of pain getting to this moment. A lot of you know some things that cropped up last minute to say hello from my past. But the really beautiful thing about when we level up and those things come is we gain new perspective because we're creating something different and something new. And we're stepping into that higher self. So without going too deep into my story, I gave myself 15 minutes because my whole entire mission is to help others share their story, have my publishing company, help others own. Thank you so much. Seeing that is like, okay. But helping others own all of themselves, share their stories, feel safe to share their stories, create safe spaces like this. So many of you have created safe spaces for me to show up as this woman right here, right now on this stage. I would love to, I'm spiritual as hell, right? I love to meditate, wish I could say I do it every day, I do not. Love to visualize, love to do all that stuff, be in nature, get in the frequency, get in the vibe. All that stuff is great. But there's one major key ingredient that put me here. Do you guys know what that is? It's you. This wouldn't happen without you. Community is absolutely everything. There is no lack here. That is a story that we were fed. So let's throw that away today. We get to ask for what we need. We get to receive because we're worthy. That was a lot of the pain that I felt for a long time the last few years, was the pain of receiving, the pain of feeling unworthy to receive. I didn't get here by doing it alone. Where's Allie? You guys. Oh my gosh. And a big part of how I was able to move through the pain was being in safe spaces in community and telling my story over and over again. Many of you know that just in 2019, I was on food stamps. If you don't believe me, I will send you a picture of my EBT card. I had an infant. My family was across the country. I lived in 400 square feet. I like to say that my roommates were mice. I did not feel comfortable telling that part of my story until today. That is a true story for those of you that know. And that didn't make me less worthy, right? I had a belief. And I knew in that belief I couldn't get there alone. I tried. It didn't work. I burnt out a lot. 2021 was a rough-ass year. I had a lot of opportunities waiting, but I couldn't do it because I insisted on keeping a lot of that private and keeping a lot of that inside. Until March of 2021, I say we because it was a co-creation of a retreat called Fempowered. 9 women came together in the mountains, and that changed the trajectory of my life. That was the moment I felt worthy. I'm going to share a very powerful story of what happened at that retreat when that particular speaker comes up. You know who you are. And magic happens when we step into these rooms and these communities and surround ourselves with other incredible people that have that aligned vision, that are working on themselves, that are stepping into that worthiness. Vulnerable storytelling saved my life. It saved my life. When I got to share that story, I know many of you are authors at Land and Hell Press in here, and you know what I'm talking about. We cracked you wide open. You're welcome. It wasn't painful at all, except it was all the time. But the type of pain that helps you grow, the type of pain that creates rooms like this, right? Learn that skill. Find those rooms. Find those people. It will absolutely change your life. Because guess what? In those rooms, you're not too much. Who in here has been called too much? Oh, shit. I'm not shocked. I'm going to tell you something. When I was just enough, do you know what I got? I got really shitty jobs. I got really subpar relationships, romantically, personally, in my family, in my work, right? I was stuck in a box. It was comfortable. But I never really, I didn't have any conflict. There was never any growing pains. Like when I was just enough, I just did the same damn thing every single day until I was sick of it, until I was ready to own that I was too much. And then I realized, by whose fucking standards was I too much? By the person that is not willing to do the work, the person that wants to drag everybody down, right? Whose standards say we're too much? Do you know what happened when I stepped into being too much? You know what I mean? So, when someone calls you that, say thank you. Say thank you. What being too much did for me, it brought in women like you. It brought me on stages like this, and even bigger. It brought me opportunities to share that story and to make a massive impact. It attracted the most incredible opportunities to launch my publishing company. You guys, I was an accountant 10 years ago. No offense. I mean, for me, like, hello, no. They were like, what? Are you the intern? I'm like, I kind of run this team. But anyway, so that is what I had to move out of, right? And being too much gave me the life of my dreams. This is the most incredible dream come true. And the best part, you guys, a lot of you will be like, what is she talking about? But I'm going to bring it back. I'm not Samantha Joy today. I am Star today. Have you guys met her? She's me. And let me tell you about Star. This is a lot of the theme of what I'm going to be talking about through the next 2 days, is how to step into that higher self. We're going to go into a couple things that really help me harness that. And Star, my higher self, I highly recommend you all find a name for your higher self. She is a pushy bitch. She, in fact, decided on this event. She didn't even ask me. She just did it. And I was like, but, and she's like, nope, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out together. We always do. We always do. And we built a relationship of trust. Because every single time we leap, she catches me. Every single time something goes wrong, it's actually destroying something to create something better. Destruction is essential for evolution. We just talked about this. It is essential for evolution. You cannot get to that next level of your higher self without something being destroyed. That is the cyclical nature of our experience here. So the next time something happens, say, thank you. Thank you for the spaciousness. Thank you for the opening for something incredible that I am so worthy of to come to me, so that I can live in that higher self and impact everyone around me and create that ripple effect of transformation. You're not too much in this room. You're fucking perfect, exactly as you are. I want you to own every single part of yourself, even the messy, crazy crap. If you guys know me or you follow me or you read my content, I don't hide it. And it's not for everyone. I get a lot of unsubscribes. Like, oh my God, get over it. And it's like, this is real stuff. This is real stuff that we need to dig into in order to elevate to that next level, right? So today, my goal for you really is, and tomorrow and just beyond this room and this moment together, is to be that higher self, is to understand that you are her today, right now. And you get to decide to wake up and be her every day. And understanding that being her is painful sometimes, but the reward, it's astronomical. You can't deny it. So part of my experience of stepping into higher self, of stepping into Star, is understanding that most of my life I've been in fear because I wanted belonging, right? How many of you have tried to find community and just like for so many years in the past, maybe not today, but felt like you just couldn't fit in anywhere. You just couldn't find your people, right? You got to find yourself first. You got to know what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with and what you stand for and what you deserve. And something that I did for years and years and years and years. Accountant, remember that? I kicked my success down the road. I just keep kicking it and kicking it and kicking it, and I'd see it and say, I want you one day, but not today, because there's this other thing happening. Once that settles down, once that's not there, once I'm in a different position, once there's more money, once there's blank, 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 then I'll go get that thing. I see you. I'll come for you one day. And we just keep kicking it down the road. Who can relate to that? I still have to go, I have to like fight that, right? And what I want to tell you, I went through something extremely pivotal in the last 2 weeks. Something had happened that was very reminiscent of a past trauma that popped up again. And because I decided to take the leap into this event, I'm going to use this event as an example, that thing that happened, again, that originally happened in 2018, 2019, if you guys know my story, 2020, never thought it would end. I finally was like, fuck this, I'm taking the leap. I'm doing the retreat, I'm moving into this, I'm building community, I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to speak, and I'm here today, right? Because I took that leap, that thing that popped up, it's annoying now. It's just annoying. Because I have this big, beautiful, rich life. I have all these incredible women and all these incredible people. What do I care about that little thing? I'm safe, I'm held, I'm worthy, I'm going places, right? And so now I react to that thing. I don't wait for it to be over so I can. I'll do that thing when. No, I do that thing so that when adversity pops up, like it always will, no matter what you're doing, you have an entirely different perspective. Your higher self says, we got this. Girl, we got this. Star says, SJ, we've done this. Look at us now. You can do anything, right? If you keep kicking it down the road, the thing that you're allowing yourself to block you from that bigger thing is going to hold the power over you. It will never leave you. You're waiting for it to end, but it's ruling your life. If you don't leap and prove that it's not your entire life and that it doesn't have power over you, it's going to sustain. It's going to stay there. Right? And I want you to think right now about that thing. Everyone close their eyes. Get into your body, and I want you to think about the thing. That thing that's been nagging you, that you have wanted to do so damn badly. You have dreams about it. It feels so real. It feels like it's at your fingertips. It's right in front of you. You just keep kicking it. Why do you keep kicking it? Why do you keep kicking it when it could be yours? It's waiting for you. I want you to think about what is holding you back from that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not anyone else. It's you. Which means that you get to do differently. You get to choose another reality. And I hope that after this experience together, that you feel safe and excited and worthy enough to stop kicking that success down the road and step into that fucking higher self. That's all I got, you guys. I'm just doing a little one today. Wait till you hear our next guest. She's coming up. This is my first event, you guys, so I'm learning AV and all the stuff. It's so good. I know, I'm gonna be real. Look at my clipboard. Thanks, Allie. You guys, why do we try to showboat? Why do we try to be perfect? Fuck that noise. I do swear, I don't apologize. I was gonna say sorry, but I'm not. Just do it messy. Just do the thing that you've thought about, that was in your body, that you're ready for, that your future self has done already. Your future, it's done. I have been here before. I know I said it was done, but I have been here before. I have had deja vu 20 times a day. Ask my assistant. She knows. I've been here. I've done this. We didn't freak out because I've been here. We have all been here together.
Is she going to announce me?
It's ready for you.
She's going to play my music.
So, okay, I feel like I hear Kelly Chase. Yeah. What am I doing? Yay! All right, ladies. Hello. So excited. I'm so excited and nervous. Let's go dance. Let's dance. Oh, come here. Oh my God, I'm shaking. It's a big slippery up here. Because, okay, that's great. Let me put my cards down. The queen. Oh, I love you. Thank you. Okay. Tell everyone it's a big moment. You got this. I love you. Oh, I'm going to introduce you. Doing it. What do they say? I don't know. Okay. Who knows Kelly Chase? I just want to see. Who watches Netflix? Anybody? We have to back up from each other. Okay, Kelly Chase, first and foremost, is an entrepreneur, social influencer, amazing podcast, Chase Life with Kelly. Check it out. speaker and reality TV star, known as her role in Love is Blind. Anybody see it? My favorite person on the show. With over 400,000 followers on social media, as a survivor of sexual assault, Kelly uses her platform and voice to inspire others to chase life and make the most of where they are in their journey. It is a part of Kelly's life's purpose to teach all that she has learned to women all over the world, which you're doing. I'm so proud of you. She believes that if she could feel this newfound confidence, inner love, worthiness, and expansion, that she could help other women feel the same way and empower them to fully step into their greatness. I've watched you. You are doing amazing.
Thank you.
I love your journey.
Thank you. Thank
Go
you.
kill him.
Yay! All right. This is my first. I've done a few public speaking events. And I have like a theater background. Obviously, I was on a big show, all the whole 9 yards, but I am shaking on the inside right now. I'm not nervous. It's like nervous excitement. But this is the first time I'm like keynote speaking for this long of a time frame and to as many of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so you may or may not have watched Love is Blind. First, I'm going to preface this. I am going to cry probably multiple times, as you already can tell. I do that. It's nerves. It's also my vulnerability coming through. I will try and get through this without crying too many times. But anyway, so Love is Blind. If you are unfamiliar with the show, we met someone. We did like speed dating through a wall. So it was literally blind dating. I got engaged through that wall. Never in my wildest dreams did I even think that I would connect with one person. So for me to have gotten engaged, I was like, what is happening? Then I spent the next 6.5 weeks with this gentleman getting to know him, and there was a wedding at the end. We could have called it off, but contract's sake, we could not do that. So I had to show up at the altar, which was probably one of the, most scary, emotional, challenging days of my life. I haven't talked about this very much, so my mom and dad saw me in a wedding dress for the first time in my life, and I was not going to marry someone, and I knew that. So it was very difficult to see their expressions. And saying no at the altar, as I did, I was saying yes to myself. I knew it wasn't right. And that experience really was the catalyst to my greatest love journey. And so I hope that whether it's this weekend or some other experience that you endure is the catalyst to your greatest love journey, because you all deserve to be so loved. You're all worthy, and you're all beautiful, particularly on the inside. So I want to ask, how many of you have endured burnout? Every hand should be raised. We're women, we multitask like crazy. So I want to say that burnout to me came from a long line of people-pleasing, feeling unworthy, as Sam was saying, not feeling enough, being too much. And it started from what I can remember, it started in preschool. It started in preschool. I was 4 years old, and a little girl came up to me and said, "You can't play with us." And I immediately was like, what's wrong with me? There has to be something wrong with me. And I didn't realize that that was this like deep-rooted story that I kept telling myself until 2018 when I hired my first mindset coach. And we started going down the path of like, okay, well, why aren't you fully showing up in this way? Why aren't you doing this? Yada, yada, yada. And I was like, well, sometimes I just don't feel like I'm enough. Someone told me I wasn't one time. And later on, what happens in our subconscious mind is that we collect evidence that that is true. So when you start crushing on boys or whomever, and they're rejecting you, there was one time in 3rd grade, I was flirting mad with this boy and he gave a necklace to someone else. And I was like, what? What about me? So again, what is wrong with me? There must be something wrong with me. Later on, had some girlfriends over one time, slumber party, that kind of thing. I don't even remember what I did, but I just remember my dad snapping at me and being like, why'd you do that? What's wrong with you? The man that you hold in this like holy Mecca grail just confirmed there's something wrong with you. I love my dad, he's great. But, you know, we all experience these little traumas, whether they're big trauma, little trauma. But I feel like I carried that throughout my life. In college, I experienced a friend situation that decided to turn into a friends with benefits situation. And that was my first experience with that type of thing. And it went south very quickly. It started with emotional abuse, being out in public. The guy thought that I was like flirting with other guys, so he would come up and like rip me away from them and like, what are you doing? You're such a slut. You're such a whore. I'm like, I'm literally talking to someone. That's it. Things progressed. He would stalk me. He would ask me to come over the next day. Hey, like, I just want to apologize. Everything's going to be okay. I just want to apologize. So I'd go over to his house. And again, I've never said this really to this many people before, but I felt like I had to perform a sexual behavior in order to get out of his house. That was my fight or flight, got to get out. And so this sexual trauma came over my body. It escalated into physical abuse. After that, he broke the windshield of my car. There were bruises on me. And it's interesting because we all can say it didn't get that bad. It wasn't that bad. He didn't like punch me. He never punched me. I didn't let it. My parents didn't let it get that far. They were scared to death for me. Luckily, I did not have to leave UGA because that was the greatest school experience of my life. But it was terrifying. And you know, we had to put like a restraining order and all of that on this gentleman. And I went to a therapy session probably right after that. The therapist, to me, I perceived it as very condescending when she said, and you kept going back to him? And so my mom picks me up from that therapy session, and she was like, how'd it go? I was like, great, fine, I'm healed. I'm good. And that was it. I never did any other therapy from it. I was working jobs now. I'm working 9 to 5. I was always working multiple jobs, whether it's bartending to liquor promotions to modeling, something out, like all these like random little side jobs that I would have. It was tiresome. And yes, I dated some other guys and had, 2 or 3 longer term relationships. They were great. But it was still like I was like half in, half out. I always felt like, when is something bad going to happen? One of my first relationships after the abusive situation, I started to see signs that resembled that guy. He did start to get emotionally abusive. He punched, not me, but a wall one time, and I was like, whoa, big trigger in my system. So we broke up pretty quickly thereafter. But a handful of years later, dated another guy. I just got really, really lost in him. Like, it's not that I was like not myself, but I didn't know who I was. I was just doing and doing and doing and going and going and going so much, but I never took time to actually figure out, who am I? So I was losing myself. And then when we broke up, this guy talked about like marriage and everything. And I was like, yeah, sure, puppy dog eyes. But obviously we didn't. We broke up, and I continued from 2013 to 2018, fall into the trap of just like chasing men. I was constantly chasing men, losing myself one after the other. Like, why doesn't anyone love me? Again, what's wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? So the story just kept repeating. No one wants to be with me. No one wants to commit to me. And it was very, very hard. And then some random guy, cute boy on the internet, started following me on Instagram, and I was like, checking him out, and he had gone to like the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, where I had gone to as well. I'm a health coach too. And I was like, interesting, like watching him post things, and he was like meditating and journaling and like doing all these like breath work and stuff. And I'm like, okay, no guy that I hang out with in Atlanta does that. Who is this man? So I started to lean into that. I wound up leaving a job that I was at for like 8.5 years, and I was like, I'm just tired, I'm burnt out from doing all the things. I want to just focus on like the coaching aspect of things, and that's what I did. So in 2018, I left, and that was beautiful to start working on me. I completely like 180'd my life. I was the girl who was literally working multiple jobs throughout the week, and on the weekends, you would find me 4 martinis deep, Friday, Saturday, and maybe Sunday fun days too. And so just constantly burning the candle at both ends. And I was like, something has to stop. Luckily, this man on the internet, I found him. But it was just so fascinating, though, because I'm like, okay, I am like constantly on this hamster wheel, and it was for 5 years, ever since that first breakup to 2018. I was just constantly spinning the wheels, constantly. And I was like, okay, I want this, but I'm doing these behaviors over here. How is it going to get me this? I want a boyfriend. I want a husband. I want to get married one day. But I'm over here getting hammered, and I'm hungover as crap every single weekend. I'm flowing into Monday, Tuesday. I can't show up as good for work because I'm hungover from the whole weekend. And now I have to just go and do again. I don't drink coffee. So I couldn't, there wasn't anything getting me up. I was just running on cortisol, basically. So I want to back up a little bit. 2015, this was right after the breakup. I decided in my head to want to do like a bikini competition. I was like, oh, but I don't want to do the actual competition. I just want to get really shredded, because I thought, maybe if I look really good, the guy will want me back, because that's what our girls, our brains do. So I was Googling all the things, how to get ripped, like bikini competitor diet, bikini competitor workouts, all this stuff. I mean, I was sprinting on the treadmill to just supersetting to eating like chicken, asparagus, and half a sweet potato. I mean, I condensed, was not eating enough food at all. Probably burning 2,000 calories a day, eating probably 600. It was really bad. I gained about 35 pounds. And my friends were like, are you okay? What's going on? I'm like, I really don't know. I don't know. I went to the doctors, and they're like, your cortisol is through the roof. You have to slow down. You have to stop doing as much as you're doing. And you're so stressed. I have some family issues too. There's just a lot of strife and grief and everything going on. So I found some coach on the internet. I was like, okay, I'll start working with her as far as the food goes. I started eating more food, working out about 30 minutes a day versus 2 hours a day that I was doing. I did start to lose the weight, and that felt really great. It felt very empowering. And I was like, wow, okay, you have to eat more because food is fuel. Okay, that feels good. That actually feels good. That's an act of love to your body, is actually fueling yourself. And then working out, strength training, I started walking, picking up yoga, and I was like, wow, okay, this feels good too. Everything just started feeling really, really good. But I was still in this space of, I feel like for most of us, it starts with our physical, nutritional and physical health, but it's all the other stuff that we're not addressing, that we're not bringing awareness to, that really has to change in order for you to change your life. So that's where I was. I was like, okay, great. I feel good. I'm feeling good about myself again, but there's still it's just still not it. So like I said, I was still losing myself in guys at that point. Fast forward to 2018, found the guy on the internet, quit my job, started to do the health coaching, 180'd my life, stopped going out drinking. My parents were they'd call me on a Friday, what are you doing, Kelly? Are you going out with your friends? And it was no, I'm listening to a podcast and reading a personal development book. And they were like, are you okay? Is something wrong with you? Are you depressed? I'm like, why do I have to be depressed to like not want to go do things? Like, I was like, I just have found like a new way of living and I'm enjoying it. They're like, okay, we're just wondering. And granted, it was kind of a little bit of a lonely time because I started saying no a lot to other people. Hey, Cal, you want to go do this? You want to go do this? You want to go do this? I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm going to stay in tonight. So, again, it felt lonely because people, when you say no 5 times, they stop asking you. However, I started, like, one of the podcasts that I had listened to, she had a Facebook group, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll, like, go on there. So I started connecting with people from all over the country, all over the world. And what is neat is, like, it's a very similar thing like this. You know, it's like everyone is from all parts. And it's so neat that we can build a community of like-minded people. So it just felt really good for me to be a part of that. And had my first, I don't know, probably like group coaching program in 2018. I was just like the year of investing in myself. And it was just so cool to do that and so empowering. Later on in 2018 is when we filmed Love is Blind. And it was 7.5 weeks of crazy emotions. Production was constantly asking us questions, interrogating us. I know they were doing their job, but they were pulling out all the traumas. I cried every day. Obviously, they don't show that on TV, but the thing that I have learned now as a mindset coach and working with other mindset coaches and therapists too, you have to facilitate that. You can't just like open someone up to their wounds and be like, okay, go out into the world again. Like, you have to like really like be with them and make them feel safe. And that's not what happened with the show. We, like I said, all these traumas were coming up for us, things that I had never talked publicly about, you know, from the abusive situation to family issues to because of that situation in college, I got very disconnected sexually and intimately from my body. I'm going to say this. I didn't have my first orgasm until I was 33 or 34 years old. And I have never been pleased by a man. It's all by myself. But it was literally one of my mindset coaches. She was like, you need to learn your body. And you need to learn to love your body and get intimate with it. Because if you want to be intimate with a man in the future, you got to know what you like. You got to know what you want. And so I did. I practiced. And it was awesome. It was great. We all know that. Anyways, like now I'm lost in thought. But it was just like a really, really like, again, just like pivotal time of my life. After filming Love is Blind though, I started working with said mindset coach that had me do that. And at the time though, I was like, okay, like this was like maybe 3 weeks out from filming. I am just like a basket case. I mean, truth be told, I said no at the altar. The guy did too. They just didn't show that on TV. So I'm the bad guy. We actually talked about dating. He ended it literally the last day of filming. So I lost like what I thought may have been a potential boyfriend. I lost him. I lost the friends that I met on the show. I mean, the filming, the crew. I mean, I just got so intimate with everybody so quickly. And then, of course, it was just like all these emotions and all these traumas are now like exposed. And I'm like, what do I do with this? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to hire this girl and we're just going to go like hard into like helping me with my business. Because I'm like, okay, I took 8 weeks off from working my business. I'm going to just go do that. And of course, that's what we do. It's our defense mechanism. We're like, let's avoid all the shit and let's go do more. Let's go create. So that's what I was doing. And she like, I want to say first session, she was like, hold on. You just came from the show. Let's talk about it. And I was like, oh, God. And then we started uncovering all of these stories. The preschool story, the trauma from college, and then everything else in between from the family grief and everything too. I was like, okay. I joke with this woman now to this day. I'm like, you did more for my mind than you did my business at the time, but that's what I needed. And sometimes it's interesting because you may sign up to work with a therapist or you might sign up to work with a coach or, you know, work your corporate job and you're like, I thought I was getting this out of it, but I got so much more out of it. It's something totally different that I needed in that moment because that was the season of life that I was in. So when I started to do that and work with the coach, started leaning into like breath work, doing that, which is really powerful if you've never done breath work. It's really, really healing because it drops you into your body versus, because most of us, like if I'm like, oh, how are you feeling today? You're gonna be like, I'm fine. I'm like, no, you're really not. There's probably something going on. But we think a lot. We do a lot of thinking. We don't do a lot of feeling. We need to do a lot more feeling. But what happens with that, circling back to the burnout, is that we are constantly all on this hamster wheel. We're always, and even doing this work, I mean, I've been doing it now for a few years now, and I found myself a few months ago, I started picking up projects again, and I was doing, and I was like 3 weeks in, and I was like, oh God, nope. It felt so erratic and chaotic on my nervous system, and I was like, I don't want to do. I need to offload as many things as possible, and I want to just have fun right now. Like, I do work a corporate job. I enjoy it. I started back in December, and not only a consistent income because we love that, but what it showed me was like, Kelly, you are a people person. You love getting out of your house. It's an outside sales job. I literally meet new people every single day, have beautiful conversations with them, and I help them. I'm like, okay, like I like this. So that just kind of like opened my mind up to things, and I'm like, that's what I want to be doing. I want to do things more like this, where I'm in person with people and I'm connecting and I'm meeting new people all the time, and providing that impact, of course, too. So I've been offloading some things from my plate, and again, I want to start filling that up with this, but being aware, because I think that's it. It's like sometimes we get so far in it, and then we're like, oh crap, I can't do this, and it's like, what does your future self want, right? We get so caught up in the now, that's where the burnout happens. The burnout happens in that. Why I'm even talking about burnout is because I believe that we do that as a defense mechanism to avoid the pain, the little traumas, and the big traumas. We aren't doing the healing, or not to the degree that maybe our bodies need. The healing stuff has been profound, and the healing could just be journaling, It doesn't have to be like going and sitting in Costa Rica and doing ayahuasca. Like, we don't have to go that degree, But talking to people that can help expand your mind, can help tap you into parts of you and show you those parts of you that are angry, that are disappointed, that hold shame, that hold guilt, that hold grief. They're just parts of you. They don't define you. And I think that that's a beautiful thing, is that when we can constantly bring awareness to those parts of us, okay, angry Alice is showing up today. It's okay. Let's honor her and acknowledge her. What I have learned through the coaching that I've gone through is that when we acknowledge our feelings and when we acknowledge our emotions, they actually become a little less intense. They aren't so chaotic. And then we don't necessarily have to go jump to go do something. I mean, there's times that I'll sit there in my feelings and I'm like, okay, I just feel really sad today. Like, I'm grieving a loss of a couple of relationships, and it's sad and I hate it. There's a lot of grief because I put so many boundaries in place. But I'm like, wait, I feel guilty because I put these boundaries in place. Does it mean, and we're constantly like questioning ourselves. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I need to go clean my bathroom, and I need to go do this, and I need to go do that. So it's like we just do it. It's like this subconscious like patterning. But I just want to empower you and inspire you and encourage you to be with those feelings, because that is where the true healing is going to come from, and that is how you are going to choose yourself over and over and over again. And love yourself. And I promise you, you will begin to have this beautiful self-love journey if you're not already there yet. Choosing yourself is going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. Like I said, there's some boundaries that I've had to put in place around family members, around people that have been in my life for 30 years. And the grief of that has really affected my life this last year. Again, I think that's why I started like doing stuff, and then I was like, hold on. But to have that recognition to just offload is really powerful for yourself. Because it's your life. You're not disappointing anyone, and anyone who you disappoint, they're not your people anyways, right? So I don't know how much time I have, but I just want to full circle here, just bring you to the moment of choosing yourself, and that burnout will start to go away. It will be hard, though. it is not easy. Like I said, there's a lot of grief that is involved, but if you can sit with the parts of you that feel that shame, feel the sadness, feel the anger, feel the frustration, disappointment, all of that, I promise it will get lighter for you, and it will feel a lot better. And that grief could be something that happened 25 years ago, as it has me. I mean, I just talked about that college situation in therapy 3 weeks ago, and of course I'm like bawling my eyes out because it's like bringing up stuff, and because it's not something I talk about on a very regular basis. But thank you all for holding space for me for that today. But yeah, I don't know, I could ramble on, but I love y'all. Thank you so much. It's really neat to have you all in this space, and this is you choosing yourself. You're taking time away from family, friends, other objectives, maybe even work, but you're investing in yourself, and that's a beautiful practice of self-love. And again, you are worthy no matter what has happened to you in this life. You're all worthy, and you're so deserving of a beautiful life and everything that you want. Keep going after it, like SJ said, like, be a badass bitch. Like, go after what you want, claim it now. Hopefully this weekend will help you do that. And just create the life you crave and chase life. Thank y'all. Yay.